watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. It's hard not to talk about it, but it's been happening so often lately. We're talking about crime in the city of Houston. This week, we've had from mothers who have lost their children to gun violence. Just today, a 4-year-old was shot in the leg here in Houston. We've heard about multi-million-dollar programs to fight crime, and we've discussed the bond issue too. Tonight, we talk the court system, a system so backed up that it contributes to crime in ways we never even thought about. It's something our leaders say they've asked Governor Greg Abbott to help fix.
State Representative Ann Johnson asked the governor in the state to add more criminal courts to Harris County. That hasn't been done. We haven't had another court added to Harris County since the mid-'80s.
And that ask happened last year. State Representative Ann Johnson herself joins me on The Factor to talk the need for more courts like she did back in October of last year.
Representative Johnson, your name has come up a lot this week. Individuals who said you had a proposal on the table in the legislature which would have reduced crime in Harris County. For those who are unfamiliar with that proposal, tell us about it.
So what we were looking to do, and it wasn't just me, it was actually virtually the entire Harris County House delegation, was looking to add 3 additional felony district courts. And the reason that that is so vitally important is part of the challenge that we have at the moment is people are not getting their cases processed. That is adding to this extended backlog, which I truly believe is part of the challenge that we are all facing to public safety. And so Commissioner's Court unanimously, bipartisan, asked and said, legislature, please give us permission to add 3 new district courts. Almost the entire Harris County delegation said the same. We need these courts because if we add them, we can get through this backlog in 2.5 years. If we don't add them, Harris County will suffer this backlog for 15 years. That's unacceptable. And now is the time to not only break down the silos, break down the partisanship, and decide whether or not we really want to solve this current crime process or we just want to complain about it.
Now, what happened to the bill?
The bill didn't go anywhere. And the bill didn't go anywhere because Governor Greg Abbott would not put it on the call. And so once we get to a special session, we can only talk about the things that Governor Greg Abbott wants us to talk about. And
many of those things were red meat items for the Republicans and things that they wanted to address and not crime.
The Republicans addressed through Governor Abbott what they wanted, but not the issues that actually mattered to Houstonians and people here that are worried about the current issues with crime. And you're absolutely right. This is an issue that needs to become a priority on both sides of the aisle. This is an issue of which all of our citizens are demanding. Victims deserve their day in court. The accused deserve their day in court. But we are suffering and paying the price for decades of a failure to invest in our criminal justice infrastructure. We got 1 new court added, but the last time we did was 1984. And think about that. If you hovered over the city in 1984 and hovered over it today, you'd see a robust infrastructure in freeways, flooding, medical center, buildings. Think of how different things are. We've added 2 million people to our population in Harris County, but nothing in our criminal justice system. We need courts to process these cases. We need law enforcement on the street. But if law enforcement's on the street, if they're making arrests and there's no way to get them through the court system, we're going to see the kinds of problems that we're seeing today. And so the office, go ahead.
And Representative Johnson, that's exactly what we heard from the Houston Police Officers Union yesterday.
We need more courts. Unfortunately, district courts in Houston and Harris County has not expanded with the population. I've been here since 1995, and we have still the same amount of court systems.
We absolutely need more courts. We can do it right now. We could add 3 new courts right now in that building. But I think we have to have a bigger long-term discussion. We are well outgrown of that building. And we need to think about the investment that we're making in Harris County. We are really suffering from the flood of Harvey when the building was shut down. We had porta potties outside. We were holding dockets in the basement of the jail. Nobody called a special session then. When we were starting to get back, we then got hit with COVID. If you go to that building now, it's under construction. And so this is no different than if everybody leaves the football game at the end of the fourth quarter. We are just slammed and we can't get through in this way. You got to open a lane. You got to let people get through. And that means adding courts. We need more judges. We need more prosecutors. We need more people that can get our criminal justice system going.
And for the viewer who's not familiar with the process, that can only be done through the legislature, adding courts.
So it's actually a two-pronged approach. You need the commitment from two bodies at the same time. You need Commissioner's Court in Harris County to say, you know what, we'll take on the cost of new courts because the cost is disproportionately on the county.
And we had that.
And we had that. We had unanimous bipartisan approval from Commissioner's Court saying, please give us the authority to add 3 new courts. And the governor wouldn't do it. And you have to have the commitment from both. And so this should not be a Republican or Democrat issue. This should be a public safety issue. And I believe this is the best thing that we can do right now to alleviate the backlog, hold people accountable, make sure that the system is working fairly to all, and be able to get beyond this moment. This is a crisis, and it is a crisis that's been building for decades. And it's a crisis that because of Harvey and COVID, it's really exposing the failures of the infrastructure of the system. And so it is time that we all commit to ensuring that public safety becomes a #1 priority.
All right, Representative Johnson, thank you for joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight.
Thank you, Isaiah. I appreciate it.
Now, Fox 26 is committed to saving our streets. Catch up on our initiative, showing you what officials are doing to make this a safer place for everyone. It's all online right now at fox26houston.com, and we'll be back with more Factors. Stay with us.